At my nephew's 7th birthday, I mentioned how much I was looking forward to our family dinner the next day. My cousin stopped eating cake and laughed. Wait, you don't know? The dinner had been the night before. My aunt pulled out her phone. There was the long table in my parents' backyard. Cousins I hadn't seen in years, kids, speeches, everyone was there except me. Then my sister looked up from the dishes and said, maybe take the hint next time. That sentence did what years of excuses hadn't. It made everything clear. I was 33, and I had spent most of my life being the easy one. I remembered birthdays, brought gifts, and stayed late to help clean up. When I got left out of group chats or family photos, I told myself people forgot. One Christmas, they said dinner was immediate family only. Later, I saw photos packed with extended relatives. I kept showing up anyway, and I kept helping. I worked in IT and had done well enough to buy 3 rental properties. My family barely knew because they rarely asked about my life, but when my parents needed repairs, I usually found a way to help cover them. I handled some of those costs quietly through my LLC. I never needed credit. Helping them still made me feel connected. That feeling died in my sister's kitchen. I set down the sponge, grabbed my coat, and left. I cried in my car, then spent most of the night replaying 4 words. Take the hint next time, so I did. A week later, my mother called because the central air at her house had failed during a heat wave. The repair was over $8,000, and the maintenance money I usually helped arrange wasn't there. Did something happen with the fund? She asked. I'm not renewing it, I said. She went quiet. I'm sure everyone from the family dinner can figure something out. I ended the call before it became another conversation about why I should be the bigger person. That was the first boundary. The bigger one involved our lake house. It had belonged to my grandparents. Eventually, ownership was split between my mother and my aunt. When my aunt died, her half went to my cousin Tara. Years later, when my mother fell behind financially, I bought her share. Tara and I each owned half. For years, the family still treated the place like nothing had changed. They used it for weekends, holidays, and summer trips. I paid for things like a new dock and almost never booked the place for myself. I also hadn't been invited there for Memorial Day in 3 years. 3 days before the next Memorial Day weekend, I had written notice sent about changing how the place was used. I wanted maintenance shared. I wanted us to agree on scheduling. If that couldn't happen, I wanted to discuss selling my interest. I wasn't trying to erase Tara's ownership. I was done acting like mine existed only when someone needed a bill paid. Friday morning, I drove up early. Around noon, 3 cars came up the driveway. My mother, my sister, Tara, their spouses, and the kids climbed out. They were laughing until they saw me. Tara walked toward the porch. You're here? It's Memorial Day, I said. I thought I'd use the place I own. My sister rolled her eyes. Eli, seriously? This is because you missed one dinner? It wasn't one dinner. My mother stepped closer. We never meant to hurt you. Things got busy. That almost worked on me. It had worked for years. Then I remembered my sister's voice in that kitchen. Not angry, just annoyed that I still expected to belong. I looked at Tara. You should have received a notice. She frowned. What notice? Of course. I explained it plainly. From now on, I wasn't covering maintenance while everyone else treated the place as their automatic vacation house. We needed to share costs, agree on use, or discuss what happened to my half. Tara's face tightened. You'd blow up a tradition over hurt feelings? I'm not stopping you from owning your half, I said. I'm just done paying for everyone else to enjoy mine. That was enough to set them off. My sister called me selfish. My mother cried. Tara said I was being ridiculous. Every argument came back to the same assumption. I should keep doing what I had always done because changing it made their lives harder. For once, I didn't argue every point. I told them I planned to use the house that weekend. I wasn't leaving just because my presence was inconvenient. Tara was still a co-owner, and I wasn't pretending otherwise, but the old arrangement was finished. They kept arguing for a while, then eventually got back into their cars and left. I didn't force them out. I didn't threaten them. I simply stopped volunteering to disappear. The weeks afterward were noisy. Calls, messages, questions about money I had stopped covering, complaints that I was punishing everyone. I ignored most of it. I stopped volunteering my money and time as if they were family property. If something needed to be handled, they